Good morning, everybody. Welcome to today's live stream. We've got some important pivots to cover in the short term. We did have a slightly bearish signal today on the wave PM on the 1 hour chart. We can break that down pretty quickly. Let's just dive right into it. So first and foremost, we have very high potential energy readings on the 1 hour chart, as you can see, because every value is below the 0.7 value, or every period is below the 0.7 value. It does imply that as soon as comprehensive net expansion begins, while there's significant weighting on the CCI, we should, in theory, see, at least in the perspective of the 1 hour chart, see significant trend. So what are we currently having? We are getting the rising 200 period. We are getting the 14 period crossing the 100 period. All the while, we have negative weighting on the CCI, where every value is below 0, meaning there is negative trend, and we even have some values below the negative 100 value, which implies downward expansion. So while we did just get this cross, I am waiting for candle close for confirmation before entering my position, because even though we got the cross, we aren't quite seeing true comprehensive net expansion yet. If I see that 14 period touch up above 0.7, I would be more inclined to take an immediate position. Really, this is more of a signal of me exiting longs rather than entering shorts, at least short term. Simply because risk is just too high for me to want to take any kind of significant position. Of course, our compression range is still holding strong from the previous downtrend over here on September 25th. Right, because we had the initial significant downward trend, which produced a significant plume of mass, which in turn created a very clear volatility overhead reading, which allowed us to create a very nice and clean compressionary range in order to scalp longs and shorts from. So, all in all, I think a confluence of signals would be ideal for shorts. If we were to break the support defined by our compressionary range, which is currently defined around 7,930, in conjunction with the wave PM crossing comprehensive net expansion that we might see in the very near future due to the high potential energy here on the 1 hour chart, I would consider a break of support, a longer term break of support, following significant downward trend and potentially values past 7,340 and even deeper. Essentially, what we would be seeing is trend continuation if we were to break downward at this time. What I would like to point out next is on the 2 hour chart, we do have very clear mean reversion pivots, which should either provide rejection or exactly that, mean reversion. If we do see mean reversion occur, well, let's just wait for ACAT to load those pivots up for us. Right, because we're currently roughly maxing out around this 500 period on the 3D wave PM, which in turn, its 1.25 standard deviation will be the pivot point for trend, either down if we were to bounce off of it, or if we were to return inside of the condition, we would see a longer term compressionary condition, which would allow us to at least restore a state of longer term lateral trading and upward move, because if you have lateral trading with more upside than downside, then it implies upward mean reversion, which is why it would be a bullish condition. So, what's next? We have our current mean reversion pivot. It has slowly descended to down to 8,550, which is in conjunction with the top edge of our compressionary pivot as well. So if for any reason at all we manage to bounce ourselves up to that 8,500 value, that is my ideal short pivot. If we were to break up above that value, we would enter a longer term bullish condition for Bitcoin. So if I were to enter a short, it would either be off 8,500 or a break of 7,800, right, to the downside. Either one of those are going to do it for me. As far as bullish position goes, I'm not inclined to be in anything just yet, because even if we do activate the condition, swing lows are still going to be aggressively to the downside due to the nature of the slope of probability volatility, which is essentially how the 1.25 standard deviation continues to get lower. So if we have a bullish condition, yes, even though there is more upside, well, to the upside, the problem stems from the slope of probability volatility to the downside here. If we had any kind of upward move here, our lateral trading and trend pivot, well, we could still, in theory, bounce on that lower edge while seeing downward movement, while still keeping the technically bullish condition active. So in order to get proper entry into a bullish mean reversion condition, we need to wait for the swing low of the mean reversion condition, which can be defined by the 1/10th CCI period for that relative condition, which would be better suited as soon as the condition activates. It is currently this teal band, and it is not relevant information until the condition activates. We can either use that 3.2 standard deviation to the downside after condition activation, or the roll-up of that, which would actually be a 50-period CCI roll-up, because this is the 500 period over here on the 2-hour chart. So you would want to see this blue line here, boop, roll up like that after the condition is activated. So all in all, there's not a position I want to take right now. Yeah, thank you for tuning in. I love you. I'll see you all tomorrow at 1 p.m. MST. There will be no stream on Monday because I will be finishing up my move. At least I'll have movers coming over. Did not open up YouTube comments today. Can you cover ETH as well? Thank you. I would be happy to. I'm going to check out ETH-BTC because I'm not too inclined to look at the derivative pair just yet. Honestly, the ETH-BTC pair does have implied short-term bullishness and trend. Small wave PM cross, but there is still technically volatility overhead on the 200 period. Would not be surprised for at least more short-term lateral trading for the time being. Yeah, compressionary range is actually holding. See, this is one of the examples where we technically have a bearish active mean reversion condition to the downside, which was activated here. And then we're just riding the top edge while maintaining the bearish condition, which is actually super bullish for ETH, technically. Because if you have a bearish condition, but you're staying on the positive side of that compressionary distribution, it really does have more bullish implications. Right? Because there's no selling action in the bearish condition, which is really quite convenient. Why? Because I'm a long-term holder of Ethereum, and I am since if we actually switch to a quad CCI perspective with the 250 periods defining trend, which I will need to manually define because I have this defaulted to 500 at this current time. Let's type in the 200 period there. Very nice. Yeah, quad CCI does have some very good profit ratio long positions. I would actually consider a 14-period CCI roll-up a long position here on Ethereum. However, a break of support, which would be a 21.024, I would consider that a completion of the bearish mean reversion condition, or at least a resumption of trending mean reversion over our current state of lateral mean reversion, where the mean travels up to meet price rather than price traveling down to meet the mean. So yeah, I'm actually slightly bullish on Ethereum at this moment. As far as longer term trend, yeah, there are some pretty significant trend lines there, but I would not be surprised if we got a little bit more upward action before that rejection actually occurred. And of course, Ethereum is going to be entirely dependent on Bitcoin's price action. I actually bought in around here, and I've been holding ever since, simply because I assumed it was close to market bottom, and sure, we've had our ups and downs, but I am inclined to think that this is a longer-term compressionary period, and, well, we'll eventually see some upside, simply because, oh goodness, I'm not going to get into the fundamentals of Ethereum. That'll be quite the rant. Check the YouTube comments one last time. I'm not seeing anything. All right, going to keep this stream short today because I have some important packing to do. It has been a pleasure. I will talk to you all tomorrow at 1 p.m. MST. I'll see you later.